What if I told you that making $250,000 a year still might not make you financially free? In fact, I've met a lot of people with incredibly successful careers and impressive incomes who constantly feel like they're chasing the next paycheck. Not because they're bad with money, but because they've confused a high income with true wealth. And the difference between these two things can completely change your financial future. When most people want to improve their finances, they ask one question: how can I make more money? It's a fair question, but I think that there's an even better one. How can I become less dependent on my paycheck? Because those are two very different goals. Today, I want to talk about what I call the income trap and why earning more doesn't automatically create more freedom. Our society celebrates high earners: doctors, attorneys, executives, business owners, and rightfully so. They've worked incredibly hard to get where they are. But here's something that we don't talk about enough. A large paycheck can create the illusion of financial security while quietly increasing your financial dependence. As income rises, lifestyles often rise with it. The nicer home, the luxury car, the private schools, the expensive vacations. None of those things are inherently bad, but they can create a situation where your expenses grow just as quickly as your earnings. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine your paycheck stopped tomorrow. Not forever, just for like 6 months. Would your financial life continue without major disruption, or would everything immediately come to a halt? That's not a question about income, it's a question about resilience. And for many highly successful professionals, the answer is uncomfortable. One of the biggest mindset shifts you can make is understanding that income and wealth are not the same thing. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you own. You can earn a fantastic living and still have very few assets producing income on your behalf. On the other hand, someone with a more modest salary but strong investments may have far greater financial flexibility. The goal isn't to simply earn more, it's to gradually own things that can work alongside you and essentially make money for you. For most professionals, income is directly tied to time. You work, you get paid. And that's perfectly fine, but there's a ceiling. There's only so many hours in a day, which means that eventually increasing your income often requires sacrificing more of your time or energy or attention. That's why I believe it's important to think beyond active income, not to replace your career, but to complement it. This is where passive income can become incredibly powerful. The idea isn't to stop working overnight. The idea is to gradually build streams of income that aren't completely dependent on your daily effort. That might come from dividend-paying investments, businesses, rental properties, or other assets that continue producing value over time. The beauty is that these income streams can work in parallel with your career rather instead of it. For me, one strategy that stood out was multifamily real estate. Not because it's a magic solution, and certainly not because it's risk-free, but because it offered a way to invest in professionally managed apartment communities without personally handling tenants or maintenance. Through apartment syndications, many busy professionals just like you and me are able to own real estate passively while experienced operators do all the day-to-day execution. For people with demanding careers, that can be a very attractive option to explore as part of a diversified long-term plan. One concept that changed the way that I think about money is this: employees earn income. Owners build assets. And over time, those assets can create opportunities that earned income alone may not provide. You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to take huge risks. You simply have to begin thinking about how today's income can become tomorrow's assets. You don't need to transform your financial life overnight. Start by asking yourself, what percentage of my income is going toward building future income-producing assets? Even small, consistent investments made over many years can have a meaningful impact. The key is intentionality. Making more money is a wonderful goal, but don't stop there, because the bigger paycheck doesn't automatically create more freedom. The real objective is to build a life where your financial future isn't dependent on a single source of income. That's why I believe it's so important to learn about investing and understand your options and think long term. If you enjoyed this conversation, I'd love for you to subscribe. On this channel, we talk about passive income, real estate investing, and practical strategies to help busy professionals just like you build lasting wealth. And I'd love to hear from you. When you think about financial freedom, what does it actually mean to you? Let me know in the comments. And I'll see you in the next video.